Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a genuinely chilling 600-year-old prophecy. It describes a time when nature abruptly reclaims human civilization. We're looking at an ancient text that reads, honestly, like a modern apocalyptic thriller, detailing a bizarre era where the boundaries between the wild jungle and the concrete city just completely collapse.
Okay, let's dive right in by asking a pretty unsettling question. How would the modern world react if millions of wild predators suddenly abandoned the forests and marched directly into our cities? You know, in modern epidemiology, we talk a lot about zoonotic spillover, diseases jumping from animals to humans because of habitat loss and encroachment. But what happens when the physical laws that keep wild animals in the wild simply break down? According to the text we're examining today, this isn't just a hypothetical scenario. It is a specific, terrifying sign of a looming global transition.
Section 1. The Beasts at the Gate. To understand this eerie prediction, we really need to look at the source material that documented this whole phenomenon centuries ago.
Our primary source here is the Bhavishya Malika. This is an incredible collection of prophetic Odia palm leaf manuscripts, including texts like the Anati Samhita, written by great saints in eastern India around 600 years ago. And these aren't just vague, open-to-interpretation predictions. They are highly detailed accounts of what the transition out of the Kali Yuga, which is our current age of darkness and strife, will actually look like on the ground.
The Bhavishya Malika explicitly states that as we reach the very end of this age, animals like lions, bears, tigers, and wild boars are going to leave the jungle in massive numbers. They'll just flood into human settlements. The sources actually describe this as a human flood of animals, literally hundreds of thousands of beasts invading villages and cities all at once. Now, modern science might look at this and say, oh, that's just extreme wildlife disruption or habitat loss, but the text frames it as something much, much deeper.
Section 2. Nature's Karmic Retaliation. So why would this unprecedented mass migration of wildlife happen in the first place? It's a complete inversion of natural behavior, right? Let's look at the ancient explanation for this terrifying shift.
The absolutely crucial point here is that this is viewed as a karmic balancing of the scales. The text explains that because humans have broken the rules of compassion, committing violence against nature, killing animals, and acting without restraint, the animals will in turn break their own natural instincts in retaliation. In fact, a really specific verse from the Tattva Bodhini, chapter 10, page 51, states that these beasts will actually spare those they karmically recognize as righteous, and they'll only attack the sinful. It is a very stark reminder of cause and effect.
See, the texts explain that animals act purely on instinct. They just eat to survive. But humans, we are karmically responsible for our choices. We have the capacity for reason, for compassion. So the ancient teachings remind us that we absolutely must return to ahimsa, or nonviolence, to restore that balance. It asks us a probing question: are we respecting the space of the jiva, the living soul within these creatures, or are we just intruding and exploiting? This chaotic animal invasion is seen as the direct result of a humanity that has completely forgotten ahimsa.
Section 3. 7 Days of Darkness. Because, as unsettling as the animal invasion is, the text frames it as merely a preamble to a much larger event. The beasts at the gate? That's really just the beginning.
This preamble builds into a massive astronomical anomaly that modern science is entirely unprepared for, a complete 7-day blackout of the sky. According to the Malika, neither the sun nor the moon will rise for 7 days and 7 nights. The earth will literally be plunged into absolute darkness. It's a marker so extreme it stands completely outside the bounds of our current physics.
And what makes this prediction even more chilling for us today is this specific detail. The Malika explicitly predicts that this event won't just darken the world visually, it will completely silence our instruments. All electricity, radios, wireless technology, and scientific devices will just break down. Science will have absolutely no means to give an advance warning. We will be plunged into the dark, completely cut off from the technological crutches we rely on every single day. No way around it.
While the world is literally left in the dark, the prophecy states the planet will also experience a devastating worldwide water deluge. And amidst all this chaos, as wild animals terrorize the streets, divine forces, described in the texts as Shandi, Chamunda, Dakini, and Pichichini, will engage in a fierce battle to cleanse the world of evildoers. Ultimately, this is the exact moment when Lord Kalki, the final avatar of this age, extends his scope of destruction to annihilate the unrighteous.
Section 4. 3 Simple Spiritual Remedies. Now, I know what you're thinking. If a blackout of this magnitude and an invasion of wild beasts sounds completely terrifying, don't panic.
Because the text actually provides a very clear, incredibly specific cure for those seeking shelter. To really understand this remedy, we turn to the teachings of Pandit Dr. Sri Kashinath Mishra. He is an eminent scholar with 30 to 40 years of profound research into Jagannath culture and the Bhavishya Malika. You might actually recognize him from his spiritual programs on Sanskar TV. He's also the head of the Biswa Sanatana Dharma Seva Trust, which is an organization dedicated to gathering devotees worldwide and translating these ancient warnings into clear, modern guidance.
Pandit Mishra outlines 3 incredibly actionable, completely free steps to protect yourself during this transition. Step 1. Practice Trisandhya. That just means establishing a daily rhythm of prayer at dawn, midday, and dusk. Step 2. Read the Srimad Bhagavat scripture daily. Even if it's just 1 chapter, 1 page, or literally 1 verse, just read it daily. And step 3, continuously chant the divine name Madhava while you go about your daily work. It's really about returning to a spiritual rhythm in an age that has completely lost its rhythm.
The big takeaway here is that crossing into the next age isn't about how much wealth you have, what nation you belong to, or how deep your underground bunker is. The texts suggest that out of 8 billion people on Earth, those who survive the darkness are identified solely by their conduct. It is entirely dependent on your steady spiritual practice and your compassion.
Section 5. Satya Yuga in 2032, which brings us to the ultimate purpose of this dark, turbulent transition. The chaos isn't just happening for the sake of destruction. The Bhavishya Malika doesn't list these terrifying signs, the beast at the gate, the failure of technology, the 7 days of darkness, just to cause panic or encourage doomsday stockpiling. Not at all. Rather, it signals them as the hard, unmistakable contractions before a birth. They are not the death pangs of the world. They are the labor pains of a beautiful, entirely new era.
And amazingly, the text puts a specific date on the far side of this darkness. According to the calculations found in the scriptures of Mahapurush Haridas, the target year is 2032. Now, while the exact timing always remains in the hands of the divine, this year marks the projected end of the Kali Yuga's grueling 5,000-year run.
By 2032, this turbulent, chaotic phase is predicted to finally conclude, giving way to the Satya Yuga, the age of truth. This is an era where harmony, peace, and dharma are restored to the earth. The darkness we're warned about, it's simply the doorway we have to pass through to reach this radiant new beginning.
So as we wrap up this explainer, you really have to ask yourself a deeply personal question. Will you let the shadows of the coming years and these unsettling signs of nature breaking down paralyze you with fear? Or will you use this ancient wisdom, embrace a rhythm of clean conduct and spiritual practice, and walk confidently through the darkness into the dawn of a new age? The choice, according to the Malika, is entirely yours.